Let's take a look at what is a no solution equation, or what is an infinite solutions equation. I've already shown you how to solve them. Okay, you already know when to write out no solution, infinite solutions. We did that on a previous lesson. Um, Now we want to look at, again, what is it? What does it mean, no solution? So let's take a look at a regular solution here. This is a nice little two-step equation, and you see that we're solving it here just the way that I've taught you. And we know that it has one solution, and that's that x equals 5. And a solution is supposed to make the equation true. And what does that mean? It means that when you take a look at the equation again, and you've already solved for it, you can take your supposed answer, your solution, plug it into the equation, and the two sides should be able to equal each other. And here you see that 15 does indeed equal 15, and that's all well and nice and whatnot. But when you take a look at a no solution equation, you go through and you solve it. And this one I'm just going to hand write it here. You get all variables to one side. It's when you look at the situation of, there are no variables left over, and what is left over does not equal each other, you'd say this is a no solution situation. So let's come over here, and just like we did on the last one, let's just take a look at it as far as, let's plug in any number that you can think to see if we can make it true. Let's use green here. Let's just say that x was 2. you know. And so we plug in wherever there's an x there, we make it a 2. And quickly we see that these two sides are not going to be equal to each other. 7 equals 5. And again, it's this idea of these two sides are not equal to each other. Well, these two sides are not equal to each other. And we're going to go through there, and let's just clear all this off. And let's try a different one, and we'll just plug it in here. Let's plug in -5, okay? -5. So 1 plus 3 times -5. 3 times -5 would be -15. And over here, that'd be a -15. And we'd very quickly see that this side is -14, and this side would be -16. Again, they are not equal to each other. And that's all that we're trying to show, is that there's no solution. There's no number that we could actually plug in to this equation to make the left side equal to the right side. And if you're wondering why, we'll take a look at it. They have a positive 3x on both sides of the equal sign, and that's not a problem. The problem is what's happening to the positive 3x on both sides. On this side, on the left side of the equation, we're adding 1 on top of 3x. Over here we've got a 3x, but we're taking 1 away. So these two sides will never be able to equal each other. It's a paradox where there is no solution. It's impossible, and it basically means that this equal sign right here is a liar. They do not equal each other. And so that's the reason we have to just understand there is no solution to these types of equations where we have variables on both sides, but these variables are exactly the same, but they're having different things done to them. Okay, so that's a no solution. When we look at an infinite solution equation, well, again, it's very similar. You'll see that we have a positive 2x on both sides, and then you ask yourself, well, what's happening to that positive 2x? Well, on the right side over here, we're adding 1 to it, and on the left side, we're also adding 1 to it. So that means that literally these two sides are exactly the same. And if you wanted to see what happens, what it looks like when you go to solve it, again, the variables, when you get them all to one side, they disappear, they cancel out, and we're left with two numbers that are exactly the same. 1 equals 1. And so when we go to plug in any number that we want, it will actually become true, and that means that there is more than one solution. In fact, it means infinite means any number that you can think of will make this true. So let's just make these x's 5, and let's go prove it. 1 plus 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times 5 is 10 here. And you'll see it. 1 plus 10 is the same as 10 plus 1. What? It's 11 equals 11. And now I'm going to write this out again. Here's 1 plus 2x equals 2x plus 1. And let's just say negative 100. It should work with any number. This would be 1 plus negative 200. And this would be negative 200 plus 1. See how we're really doing the exact same thing? You'll get negative 199 on both sides. And that's how what we recognize is when we have no variables left over and this number equals that number, we'd say, hey, this is an infinite solution. And that means that it does not matter what number you plug into this equation, it will make it true. And again, why? Because it has the exact same setup on both sides. You'll see that the variables are the same here. They're both positive, and then the same thing is happening to them. Meanwhile, back here on the no solutions, you'll have the exact same variable on each side of the equal sign, but different things are being done to it. You know, like the left side is adding and the other side is subtracting, or maybe this side's being multiplied and this side's having addition. But it's the difference of the way that it's set up. But both of them are similar in the fact that they have the same variable. Okay, and when you slide those variables to the same, you know, you get all variables to the same side of the equation, what happens is you create that situation where the variables are canceled, and it lets you be able to very clearly see that, hey, the left side's not equal to the right side. Or and the infinite ones, when this happens, you'll be able to very clearly see that, hey, the left side is exactly the same as the right side. So hopefully that gives you a basic idea that, you know, the infinite solutions, you can plug in any number and it'll make that equation true. But because it's got more than one answer, we need to call it infinite solutions. And then for the no solutions, basically it just means that the two sides are not equal, and nothing's ever going to be able to solve it. There's not a single number that will make that equation you know, true. So that's the difference between no solution and infinite solution equations, and that's how it relates back to our regular solutions where we find one answer and that's the only answer that makes this equation true.